Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. It's review day! Today we're going to review the Zero Tolerance Hinderer. Is this possibly the best everyday carry knife? Let's find out. Is the Zero Tolerance Hinderer possibly the best everyday carry knife? Let's find out. So when you are thinking about purchasing a knife, you have a huge array of options. I'm going to set this down just so I don't hack my hand on YouTube, because that's always entertaining. But you have a ton of options. I mean, literally hundreds of manufacturers, anywhere from the cheapest possible thing you can buy at the dollar store, literally for $1. You can actually buy a basic kitchen knife for $1, up to this guy in the hundreds of dollars, up to the like crazy exotic pushing near $1,000 on a knife. Are all knives built equal? No, definitely not. Now, I've got a lot of different knives. The Zero Tolerance, I've got, let me pull up here. I've got my Benchmade, I've got my Spyderco, I've got a K-Bar, a Mora knife. I've got a mountain of knives. But this one I've taken into the habit of using my everyday carry knife. Now, what does everyday carry knife mean? That means literally anytime I leave the house, I just take this guy, slip it into my pocket, and away I go. Of course, you can't see that in my pocket, but I'll show you how that works in a moment. And so you might think, Aaron, why the heck do you need to carry a knife around? I don't know how many times I've needed a knife. Like, hey, do you have a knife so I could cut the tag off? Do you have a knife so I could cut open an apple? Hey, do you have a knife so I can do this, slice that, or whatever? You would be amazed how useful and how often I use my knife. It's just a surprising thing. Now, some people might say, hey, you're carrying a weapon, that's dangerous. Really? Okay, now, if you think that's dangerous, I'm going to show you. Okay, this is my Hinkle kitchen knife, right? My favorite cutting knife, even though it has a little thing here, but that's for another thing, versus my everyday carry Zero Tolerance Hinderer. Which knife do you think is more intimidating, potentially more dangerous, and scarier? Let's see, let me vote on that. I would say the kitchen knife. This is like Norman Bates scary. This thing, all of a sudden, next to a kitchen knife, just looks like a child's toy. Now, no, it's not. However, there you go. So just give you an idea of the size of the knife here. Now, the Zero Tolerance knife, especially the Hinderer, is super nice. It's got a lot of interesting features and options here. The first I'm going to show you is the Graphite Handle. Now, is the Graphite Handle cover absolutely necessary? No. You can get plastic, you can let it be aluminum, steel, tons and tons of options. Ultimately, do you really need anything exotic on a knife? Not at all. However, the theory of the Zero Tolerance knife is their thing is absolute quality, performance, blade retention, strength, and all that. Now, just to give you a disclaimer, disclosure, I am not supported nor sponsored by Zero Tolerance in any way. They do not give me money for this. I don't receive free knives for these reviews. In fact, any of the reviews below, if you hit the subscribe button, you'll check out my reviews, travel videos, inspirational material, all sorts of things I've got on my YouTube channel here. So just word of note, I use this knife every day. You can see it's it's a little scuffed up. It's not too bad, but this EOMX steel is super tough. So just word of warning or word of note, I'm not getting money for this. So the only thing is, if you want to click on the link below, if you click on your phone, you hit the little arrow and it expands the links there, you can actually get the link to this knife on Amazon to go check it out for yourself. So why do I like this knife? Well, it's heavy. It's actually really heavy. So let me get the scale here, and we're going to go into a few specs. Let me zoom in. One moment to turn my scale on so you can see just how heavy that knife is. And it's probably the heaviest knife I will generally carry every day. So there we go. That knife registers 5.2 ounces. right? Well, let me zoom out just a little bit. 5.2 ounces. Now, people complain or talk about the Benchmade knives, like this guy, the Striker, is heavy, but that's only 4.2 ounces. So if you think, hey, wow, this is a heavy knife, you're going to think that zero tolerance Hinderer is like a solid steel brick. Of course it's not, but it is definitely heavy. For the people into grams, that's 144 grams, folks. So this knife is literally over 1/4 of a pound. It's definitely solid. And that's one of the things about the zero tolerance knives is they make these things feel solid. So you'll notice it's got a few nice features here. The blade sits very cleanly inside. The pocket clip comes on this direction, so when you bring the knife out of your pocket, it's natural, so you can pick it up naturally. So when you open it, it's automatic and very easy to use. Let me show you how that guy sits in my pocket here. I'll at least try to show you. So it goes in my pocket, slips right in there. That's all that shows on the knife in your pocket. Now this isn't about hiding weapons. This isn't about concealed carry. This is just simplicity so the knife doesn't fall all the way into your pocket. It's just handy there, so if you need to quick draw and slice an apple, it's got this nice little dent here where you can pick up the knife and you can come out and immediately get your finger on the quick release bar back there. Now, folks, this is not what you would call a switchblade or automatic knife at all. This is legal in most states. I'm going to put a link below to knife law. You can go check it out, talk to your lawyer or whatever, but most states, as far as I know, a spring-assisted knife is totally legal. I've worked in a knife shop before. I've dealt with this question a ton of times. The thing about the spring-assisted versus like my Benchmade Striker Auto is you have to push this down. I'm not going to do it immediately because it'll just flip out. You have to push this to make the blade move somewhat before it fully opens. So that is a spring-assisted knife. It's not an auto knife. The differentiation between that and, let me grab my Benchmade here, I don't even know. I mean, for speed and everything, my Benchmade is a full auto. You can see it flip out there versus this guy. Looks all the same to me. So what about handling and cutting with this knife? You'll see, let me show you end on here, what the blade looks like. It is actually a very substantial blade here. It's really quite nice. It's got what are called jimping here on the back of the spine, where when you grab the knife with your hand, and this guard also protects you from slipping over and hacking your finger, because hacking your finger is always fun, not really. But this jimping allows you to hold the knife very safely and controlled. The blade doesn't have any particular jimping on this back edge, and that's just normal for that. You can see here, let me get out of the way, and you can see the grips for your fingers. Let me turn it around there. And this guy also supports what's called a body lock. There are different types of locks on this knife, or on knives. And let me see, I don't know what the best way is to show you, but if I flex this guy up and down here, you can see how to release the blade. And so you pull that there, you bring the blade down. Now the key about this type of knife, when you close it, you have to make sure it closes all the way. If you partially close, I have to be careful here so I don't hack myself. If you partially close this knife, it's actually in a state of tension where it will close slightly. But if you close the knife only partially and you put it back there, it will actually spring out on you. So a spring-assisted knife you do have to be careful with. I actually love it because then I don't have to two-hand it open, because if I'm holding on a piece of rope or something and I need to cut it, I can get my knife and cut it out just like that. Another nice feature, so that there are no liner locks. This is just a body or frame lock on this knife. Very few parts on here. You can actually move the pocket clip from this side to this side of the knife if you so desire. And in fact, if you want to move it onto the carbon fiber side, there are drill holes and threaded holes on both sides. little bit of pocket fuzz in there. So you actually have multiple options. Maybe if you're left-handed, you want to flip the knife around, you can actually put the clip on the other side. So if you're left-handed, you can come out of the knife all ready to go. This knife definitely cuts stuff. So I'm going to do a quick little demo here just to show you. I've got my handy dandy cutting board, and I only brought 2 things to cut because cardboard and thick plastic are definitely the beasts of the cutting world. Cardboard, if you want to make your knife good and dull real quick, cardboard will definitely do the job. So you can see, let's see, so you push in there and you pull and draw, and pretty much voila, no problem. Easy to do. And let me show you on my handy dandy plastic container here. No holes in it yet, so we'll see how easy this pushes through here, right? Boom, done. Pretty darn easy. That slipped through very, very well. Always use proper knife etiquette if you're a Boy Scout. You know, learn the rules of knife handling. If you're not a Boy Scout and you want to learn the rules of knife handling, actually, the Boy Scouts have a great program called Totin' Chit. You learn about the knife. Also, one of the things about this that does make it a little bit, I would say, harder to sharpen is the blade tip steps up quite a bit. So as you're sharpening and drawing through, you're going to have to move the blade and level it out. I would say that would be the only downside, but in making this very tip of the knife pretty steep, it actually makes it stronger and it's much more difficult to damage. This particular version is made out of EL Max steel. It is incredibly tough. It holds an edge for a long time. As a consequence, it does make it a little bit tougher to sharpen. So it's a holds edge longer, tougher to sharpen versus sharpens easier but dulls all the time. So that's just a trade. They've got a nice little logo on there, patents and all that. But if you want a good, solid, everyday carry knife, this zero tolerance Hinderer, I highly recommend it. Again, check out the links below. I'll show you that. Links to sharpeners and all that sort of thing. So you get a good idea. I love this knife. I mean, when I flex this thing, I mean, it does not wiggle at all. The thumb bars here, if you prefer a thumb bar type opening, I don't like it because it's a little bit harder. But if you like a thumb bar opening, they've got that too. So zero tolerance Hinderer, highly recommended as an everyday carry knife. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please like and comment on my video. If you can't find the comments on your phone, not on my phone, you just you click on the little button or the arrow to the bottom right of the video, and it will expand, and there you go. Check out the links there. Scroll all the way bottom, please, to the bottom. Please add a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I would love to hear what you think about this knife or any other your particular experiences with it. Also, please subscribe to my channel. I bring you motivation, product reviews, travel, inspiration. That's what I do on my channel. And please support me on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. My name is Aaron Linsdau. Thank you very much for watching.